The body positive movement. In this episode, we explore just how positive it really is. This is a potentially controversial one, but we feel we have a moral obligation to speak out.
We're in the business of helping people be as healthy and happy as they can possibly be, so we're telling it as it is. Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Midlife Mentors. James here.
Hello, and Claire here. How are you all?
I hope you are all well. Today we're going to be talking about a very controversial topic, which is the whole body positive movement. And we'll be throwing maybe a slightly different light on it and asking just how positive it actually is.
Yeah, so guys, we were thinking about doing this a while ago, but actually we've really been inspired because I hope you all know this by now if you followed us for a while, but we don't want to sugarcoat anything, and we do want to offer a different alternative viewpoint to certain things that, issues that are out there. So we hope you enjoy this. We always want your feedback. Be honest with us. We're going to be honest with you. But before we dive into it, I suppose we'll just let you know what we have been up to.
Wow. As always, been busy with our wonderful clients, running programs, running coaching. We have our free group. Do not forget that. The Midlife Mentors community on Facebook, where we're now every Sunday morning doing coffee with Claire and James, which people are loving, actually. So do please join that.
We're loving it too.
We are.
I think it's just so nice to have that connection. We don't do the physical fitness and wellbeing retreats that we have just known and loved for so many years. So we're really missing contact as well. Even though we've got each other, we really get our energy off of other people. So even being able to do it on social media, online. So that's the Midlife Mentors community Facebook page on Facebook. So please do join us because we'd love to see you there.
And other than that, these winter months, we've been ordering a lot of growth books, a lot of interesting books. We've been speaking to a lot of other coaches that cover similar areas, ask different areas. Basically, I go virtual networking because one thing we never do is stop growing and wanting to learn more and putting ourselves out there. So we're doing that, and we're actually we're going to be on a podcast as well, aren't we? Guesting on a podcast.
Oh, we're guesting on lots of
divorce
podcasts.
Coach.
Yeah, Sarah Davison. We're
amazing. That was a great one to do.
Well, she was on our podcast. If you haven't listened to that one, guys,
the one on divorce.
I think it was the second most popular one we did. The other one was around fear and going after what you want and not letting fear stop you going after what you want. And the podcast with Sarah was just amazing. That was our second most popular. So we're on hers. I'm not sure when.
Not sure when it's coming out, but maybe we should do another one on relationships, Claire. Because those stats came out the other day that in the UK, at least, divorce rates are hitting their highest level since 1972 as a result of lockdown. And they're expected to get even higher. So, joking aside, I know a lot of people probably are having a hard time with relationships. I think it's something we should consider for another one.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think real life stories are always helpful. I know I find them really helpful and inspiring, and I know that when we were doing the podcast with Sarah, she was kind of asking us to share our story and what we've been through. So that real life stuff helps people, doesn't it? So yeah, good idea, Mr. D.
Okay, and on to today's topic, body positive, the body positive movement. If you don't know what this is, it's basically celebrating large people as inspiring idols, I guess. Before we dive into that, just a stat I was looking at just now on a parliamentary paper. Of course, we are the Midlife Mentors, and it's between ages 45 and 54 in the UK is now the most obese group. The highest rates of obesity is in that age group. So that is relevant to us. But if we're looking to our future as well, the shocking stat is, I think 1 in 10 children is obese at a young age. But by the age of 10 or 11, 20% of children are now obese.
Yeah.
So
it's a generational thing, guys. It really is.
Yeah, we are going to dive into some more stats and figures. But first, about the body positive movement and what sparked this. Tell us, Claire.
Well, first of all, I just really want to say that the whole body positive movement, for both James and myself, but I'm speaking from the female perspective, it is. Being body positive is incredibly, incredibly important. It's an incredibly important movement. I support it 100%, so does James. It is something I really struggled with when I was younger. I, grew up in the 90s with all the skinny supermodels, with airbrushing on all the magazines. It was incredibly unhealthy mentally for us women. It was there for men as well, absolutely. We're now discovering that anorexia and bulimia was huge for guys, and actually is huge for guys now with all the pressure of social media. But for me and my experience, having verged on, I suppose, anorexia, I went for therapy for it and all sorts of things, and then being 2 dress sizes bigger than I am now, I know that body positivity, it wasn't something that was really being discussed at that time, where it was okay to, talk about these things and share these things and connect and get help for it. It wasn't as widely understood and accepted, and I think it's amazing that it is right now. So I want to say that before we go on to why we're doing this and showing the flip side of it.
Yeah, I think it's really great that we have role models now that show, people who are larger can be active and can be fit, and go on a journey to make themselves healthier and fitter. But I think where we have the issue is, fitness. However you want to define it, it is about health. But fitness and health, they go together hand in hand. And at the end of the day, someone who is severely obese and is being held up as an inspiring role model for fitness, if they're not progressing on their journey of fat loss, I just don't think it's right. No,
it's a really challenging subject, because at the end of the day, James and I do this work because we know that everyone deserves to be the healthiest, happiest person. It's not a dress size, it's not a waist size. It's about being ultimately healthy and ensuring that you have a great quality of life, not just a long life. It's really, that is the most important thing to us. We don't care what anyone looks like. It's like what's going on inside their body.
Exactly. And what inspired this was Glamour magazine published an article which was the 31 top female fitness influencers, which was great, and there were some amazing, inspiring women in there. My favourite was
yes,
can't remember her name, Joan, the 74-year-old. I mean, if I look any half as good as her,
I worry if you look like her.
Amazing. But that's a classic example of someone that didn't start from physically a great place and has transformed herself. What was concerning for us, I think, was of the 31, around a third of them were obese, and a handful of them, I would say, verging on very to morbidly obese. And listen, I know people will throw their arms and go, oh, but it's positive. No, listen, the point I was making at the time, the point we made, if someone is starting from that place and they go on a journey and you're with them on their journey, then that is inspiring. Show me someone that is, 18 stone overweight, and 2 years later they're down to kind of like a size 14 to 16. Amazing, inspiring, fantastic. Show me someone that's 18 stone overweight and 2 years later they're 18 stone overweight, or maybe they've even now gone up to like 19 and a half stone overweight. For me, that is not an inspiring role model from a fitness and health perspective.
Absolutely. And actually building your brand around that, your brand around staying there and not promoting inner well-being. We're going to talk about all the health risks, right? Because ethically, we have a moral obligation to talk about these things, okay? And, these people are creating a brand around themselves, and they're there with like chocolate cake and this and, ice cream, and it's fine. We have a treat. It's great. But actually just promoting that on a daily basis is incredibly dangerous for generations to come.
I was going to say, one of the influencers there on the post that they chose them, it was actually like, on her text message, she's like, oh, look at all my fat rolls, and laughing, going, wasn't it a great thing to celebrate? There is nothing to celebrate about morbid obesity, nothing to celebrate. So before we get into the stats on that and why it's risk, as Claire said, rightly so, we've come to regard very skinny models or skinny representations of men or women as wrong now. And, that was all through the 90s, that kind of heroin chic and getting rid of it.
It was awful. And rightly so. It was not acceptable, and it was rightly called out, and it was changed.
But I want to just bring a stat here from a parliamentary paper on obesity. So we obviously are very right to be concerned about the pressures, particularly on young women, to be a certain way or to be skinny, and the health risks that come with being too skinny. Out of 1,000 people, 16 will be underweight, which is still too many. Out of 1,000 people, 287 are very obese, with 36 of those morbidly obese. 3 times as many people are morbidly obese. Means you're basically at risk of imminent death from the weight you are carrying. It's 3 times as great as the number of people who are underweight. Yet, we're rightly not saying underweight. Though, if we had influencers in that list and they're inspiring, they're going, oh, look how much my ribs are sticking out today, look how my collarbones are sticking out, we'd be like, that's wrong. Yet on the flip side, you've got people going, oh, look how many rolls of fat I've got here, and going, that's really positive.
Well, no, it's not, because it's, we, again, quite rightly so, the Skinny Bitch Collective, I don't know when anyone remembers that was like a fitness brand, Skinny Bitch Collective, that's not okay. It's not okay. It's a good thing that was said, you know what, that's promoting skinniness, it's not okay. But at the same time, those stats that James has just shared show that actually the obesity epidemic is far bigger problem to worry about right now. Not that we shouldn't also worry about underweight people. We absolutely should, and we should be helping as many of those people as possible, but we shouldn't be glamorizing being morbidly obese or obese and actually building brands and social influencers around it.
I think the problem we've got here is culturally we have become more obese as a nation. And so to soften the blow of it, we're now celebrating obesity rather than calling it out for the health risk it is. And if we want to look at the health risk, currently I think it's 67% of men and 60% of women in the UK are overweight or obese. That's like 2/3 of the population.
And obviously that comes with its own huge health issues. Just talking about obesity and diabetes here, it's responsible for 80 to 85% risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So if you're obese, you've got 80 to 85% more risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And the crazy stat is 1 in 15 people have diabetes, and 90% of those have type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, and of course, type 2 diabetes is it's about 80 to 85% avoidable through lifestyle factors, the main one being obesity. It costs the NHS 10 billion a year just on diabetes, that's all diabetes, but many billions more than that just on treating all the issues associated with being overweight or obese. It's estimated that up to half of type 2 diabetes could be completely prevented or delayed by lifestyle interventions.
We're just going to touch on some of the other things as well, because this is really, really important to discuss, okay? We need everyone to know this. Obesity has been linked to impairing the immune system, and it has been linked to causing cancer. There's some studies that suggest that being obese increases estrogen, and so for women that increases the risk and the chance of breast cancer. It's crazy, there's obviously a lot more research that needs to go into this, but I think we can all agree being overweight or obese on the inside, body positive is so amazing. Like, listen, I cannot stress this enough. James and I are not saying that the body positive movement is wrong. What we're saying, and we're saying that making fitness accessible for overweight people, making them feel comfortable and accepted as they are, is amazing. But promoting it as a lifestyle choice going on is a completely different issue.
Yeah, I think the issue we have is that some of these influencers are actually promoting obesity as a solution and a lifestyle. There's no drive there to lose the fat and get, in inverted commas, healthy. It's kind of celebrating how large they are on a continuing basis. Let's not beat around the bush. Carrying like a large amount of excess body fat carries massive health risks, and we should not be celebrating it and saying to our generation to come, this is someone that should inspire you.
No, exactly. And we have to find balance here, and we're not afraid to actually go out there and say that we need to create balance here. I think hopefully that anyone that knows us knows how we feel about health and wellness and it being accessible for everyone and inclusive for everyone. But we have to find balance because we have to protect our generations to come, but we also need to protect our NHS. So that's it, guys. Really, we just don't feel that we wanted to pay lip service to what's politically correct. It's not authentic, and we do feel like we have a moral obligation to say these things, because we're not helping anyone by brushing these issues under the carpet. We're not helping anyone by saying it doesn't matter, because it really does. Your health is about you on the inside, and we're all about helping people be healthy and happy on the inside, regardless of what their body looks like in a mirror. It's about what's going on in their internal organs,
exactly.
Their health, the risk of heart disease, the risk of cancer, the risk of diabetes, all these health issues that come with being overweight or obese.
Yeah, I think body positive is to be celebrated, but let's not glorify obesity, which is what we're in danger of tipping over into.
Guys, we would love to know
get your feedback on this controversial subject.
Love to know your thoughts on this. We really would. And, be completely vulnerable here. It's a subject that we feel really passionate about and we wanted to share. And, of course, there's a part of our minds like, we don't want to come across in the wrong way. I hope we haven't. I don't think we have. But we would love to know your thoughts on this issue as well. So please reach out to us. It's just pop us an email. It's team@themidlifementors.com. So that's team@themidlifementors.com. We'd love to hear from you. Join our Facebook group for our Sunday coffee.
Just search for the Midlife Mentors community on Facebook and you will find us. Ask to join and we will let you in and we will see you for coffee on a Sunday morning.
We'd love you to join us. And obviously we have our YouTube channel, which is where all these podcast episodes go on, the Midlife Mentors YouTube channel. That's growing, that's expanding, that's wonderful. So go on there, loads of free content on there, and love doing this, love sharing our insights and support with you. And whatever you're up to, we're just wishing you all the health and wealth and happiness.
Yes, see you next time.
See you soon.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.